everyone. Happy Friday. Happy 2024. This is the first podcast of 2024 and we are excited to kick off with episode number 5. And episode number 5 is going to be on how to travel for free, or really how to maximize your rewards that you have available with different credit card companies. If you are new to credit, then you might want to go back to episodes 3 and 4 where we talk about credit cards and we dive a little bit deeper on how it is that you can build credit, how you can start off if you have nothing going on in regards to credit, how your credit scores are impacted. Remember, credit scores are impacted based on your payment history. If you don't have any payment history, then you might want to start getting, something like your phone bill. That should increase your credit history. Your credit score is also determined by the length, so the amount of time that you've had a loan or a credit card, and also the type of credit that you have. Payment history can be your lease, your phone bills, anything that requires you to make monthly payments. And then the other one is also the different kinds of credit that you have. Now we're going to go over the different ways that I've been able to maximize the travel rewards. So we're also going to be covering more on where you can go after you've used up your points whenever you have your sign-up bonuses, because that's essentially how I've been able to travel. But let's take it back. So before you even think about traveling for free, if you have no kind of credit, we want to make sure you establish that. So ideally, you want to start off with a cashback card. If you don't qualify for a cashback card because you don't have enough history or you don't have good credit and you're just fresh starting off with whatever it is that you have, and you're probably going to want to get a secured credit card. If you have that one out of the way, then go ahead and apply to a cashback card. And there's tons of different cashback cards. Chase has them, and then I love using my Discover one because that one gives me the most cashback. It's 5% cashback, but I believe pretty much any bank that you can come across probably has a cashback card. You just have to dig deeper on which one would be best for you. And cashbacks are pretty straightforward. Whenever you spend a certain amount, that certain amount is multiplied by the percentage of the cashback that you have, and that's what you get back. So if I spend 100, I get 5% back every time I spend that. So it's pretty simple to figure out how much you're getting. And on your portals, it tells you how much you've been accumulating. You can use that to cover your balances, or you can use that to be put into your debit accounts. So you can strategically put it straight to your accounts, so that way it counts as a additional income for you. So those are the first two that you kind of want to get out of the way. Now, after you have those, if you already have your secured one, if you already have your cashback card, then the next one that you want to get is probably your airline cards. And this is where the traveling comes in, like how you can travel for free. So we're going to go over 2 main cards. And the reason I call these the 2 main cards is because these are probably the ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. Because like American Airlines, or what's the other one? I think it's Alaskan Airlines. Like all of those different airlines don't really have big credit cards and rewards, and these are probably the ones that have the best rewards anyway. So the top 2, in my opinion, are probably going to be Southwest and United, especially because Southwest and United fly almost out of everywhere, or at least all the big cities. Southwest usually flies out of like Hobby, and then United usually flies out of IAH here in Houston. So I use United more often than I use Southwest because I use IAH. But if you want to know the difference between the credit cards, we're gonna go over the rewards. So the thing with airline credit cards, most people think that you can only use it for that airline. That's not the case. Airline credit cards are just like any other credit card. You can use it for anything and everything. The only difference is that you actually collect miles with that airline. So instead of collecting cashback, or instead of collecting points compared to like your Amex or like your Chase Sapphire, those you actually get to collect miles, and those points/miles can be used to buy flights. And within the portal, the travel portal that the airline company has, you can also book hotels, and I believe you can also book vehicles at a discounted rate. So with the Southwest, they have something called the Rapid Rewards, and they have 2 different ones. They have the Plus and the Priority. So the Plus, you actually get to have a sign-up bonus of 50,000 points if you spend a certain amount within a certain threshold. So it says earn 50,000 points. You don't get that right off the bat. You do have to spend a certain amount. I'm not sure what Southwest's is. I know that with United, you do have to spend $3,000 within 3 months so that you can get the sign-up bonus. And with them, with United, it's 60,000 points. But going back to the Southwest one, we're gonna review what the Plus and the Priory offer. So every single year with the Southwest Rapid Rewards Plus card, you get 3,000 anniversary points. So every year you just get $3,000. Compared to the Priory, you get 7,500. Now with the points, so how do you collect points, right? So after you're done with the sign-up bonus, like once you're done with those 50,000, how do you collect more points? Well, all the cards have referral bonuses. So with United, you get 10,000 points every single time you refer someone, and if they get accepted and they get the card, you get 10,000 points. But outside of that, every single time you spend money on that card, you also collect points. So for example, here it says points per dollar. So when you spend on Southwest Airlines, so any purchase that you make directly with the airline, with the Plus, you get 2 times points, and then with the Priory, you get 3 times points. So depending on the tier of the cards, you get more points because of the tier. So for example, with the Plus, that's a lower tier, so you get 2 times points. Priory is a higher tier, so you get 3 times points. Now, the other way that you can also collect more points is if you use that card when you book a hotel or your car rental. Any purchase that you make for hotels or car rentals, you will get 2 times points for every dollar you spend. So if I spend $100, that's 200 points that I'm going to be getting because I used my Rapid Rewards credit card. And that's the same across for both Plus and Priory. That's going to be the case for the remainder of these bullet points, except for the early bird check-in. You get 2 early bird check-ins with the Plus. You don't get it with the Priory because you get 4 upgraded boarding passes per year. So basically what that means is that if you want to upgrade your seats and they have available seats that you can upgrade to, you can do that 4 times out of the year with the Priory. And you also get $75 of Southwest annual credit. So those $75 can be used whenever you're booking a flight within their portal. So for example, with Southwest, you can use your points to book a flight, but sometimes the taxes are not covered by the points. So you can use that 75 credit, that annual credit that they give you to cover the taxes, and that's how essentially you can book your flight for free because you're using your points. Those are free points anyway, and then you're using your credit that they're giving you annually. And then the other one that the Plus has is you get 1,500 of tier qualifying points. So basically, if you're like an A-list or A-list preferred status, you can collect these points, but you have to spend at least $5,000 for that year. So if you spend $5,000, which that can easily be done in a couple months if you put it on your expenses, you get an additional $1,500 on top of the ones you're already collecting. And then you also don't get any foreign transaction fees. And this is with the Priory, which is the higher tier. Now, both of them, you can collect 2 points per every dollar on hotels, car rental, local transits like your metros, commuting, ride shares like Uber, Lyft. And you also get 2 times points on like internet, cable, phone services, select streaming services. And then you get 1 point per dollar on all other purchases. So pretty much you get 2 points per dollar on everything else mentioned. And if something on here wasn't mentioned, then the remainder of the items will be 1 point per dollar. So this is what the Rapid Rewards offers. And the great thing about Southwest and their credit cards, their airline credit cards, is you get something called a companion pass. So this is one of the reasons why I want to get this one. I don't have this one just yet because again, I use United more often when I fly rather than Southwest. I think I've only used Southwest once. And the other times I've used either United, American Airlines, or Spirit, or whatever's available from IAH. And with the companion pass, you essentially can bring a buddy with you and they essentially fly free with you for the year. So the fun thing about the companion pass is you could pay for the price of one is pretty much what that means. And with both of these cards, there is an annual fee. So with the Plus, you have a $69 annual fee. And then with the Prioirty, you have a $149 annual fee. But if you think about it, you are essentially paying probably $75 for the Prioirty because they're already giving you $75 worth of travel credit like towards your account. And then on top of that, you get 4 upgraded boardings per year. So sometimes it costs a couple like $100 or up to $100 or even more whenever you want to upgrade from economy to business class. So that is a major save. So I would say that that's a steal because you're still saving at the end of the day. And then with those points that you're getting after the sign-up bonus, 50,000 points, you can get some flights as low as I think 2,000 miles. And that means you can get a ton of flights from that $50,000, sorry, not 50,000, 50,000 point sign-up bonus. So it can go a long way if you fly with Southwest. Now, with the United one, so let's go over the details of the United Mileage Plus. So United has quite a ton of different cards. So it has the Explorer, which that one's the one I have. And then from there, you also have the Club, the Quest, the Gateway, and then you have your business ones. But right now we're gonna go over the Explorer because that's the one I have. And we're gonna go over the benefits on this one. So with United, you get 2 miles per dollar spent on any United purchase. And then you get 2 miles per dollar spent on restaurants. And then you get 2 miles per dollar spent on hotels, and everything else is 1 mile. So that's pretty much what you get on that one. Now, how do you use the rewards? You can essentially use it with booking flights with them. I also use their travel portal, and then I use those points to book hotels. And then you can also purchase gift cards. So in their Mileage Plus portal, you go in and you can purchase the gift cards with the miles that you have. Now, their travel benefits, you get a free checked bag, and that's pretty much up to $140 that you're saving round trip. And then you get 25% back on anything you purchase within the United flight or anything that you purchase at a club. So you have the in-club purchases. And then you also have a global entry TSA pre-check, and that's up to $100 of free credit that you essentially receive. You don't get any foreign transaction fees with your United travel card, the Explorer. And then you also have priority boarding. And this is one of my favorite parts, that you get 2 United Club passes, which is a value that's probably over $100. So what that means is you get to relax at the United clubs that are located in your city, like wherever it is that you're flying out of. And it's a lounge. So you essentially get to go to the United Club lounges whenever you're waiting for your United flight. So that's one thing that I really like, because it's like you're essentially not paying anything whenever you are using this card, because one, you get points, and those points you can use for flights and hotels. And this one I believe has a $69 annual fee, if I'm not mistaken. Let's kind of go back. So first, you want to make sure you have your cashback card. The reason why I say cashback card is because you can accumulate points, and sorry, not points, you can accumulate money to purchase anything that you want during your travel. So that's what I've been trying to do. I try to use my United for majority of my purchases so I can collect points. And the way that I strategically move my cards around on what I'm going to be spending is I go based on when do I want to travel. Once I've identified when do I want to travel, then I trace it back to, okay, how many points am I going to need to book a hotel there? So I use the United Travel Portal to check how much it is going to cost me to book a hotel for X amount of nights, for X amount of people, for certain dates. So once I've figured out, okay, this is the amount of points that I need, how do I spread that out? So let's say I need 20,000 points by August. So that gives me 8 months to spend $20,000, which I know that sounds like a lot, But trust me, it's not, because if you're already spending, which by the way, most people on average spend anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 monthly on just expenses, because you have your car payments, you have your gas, you have your groceries, you have your rent. So all of that adds up. So let's just keep it simple. Let's just say that we have $3,000 that we are spending every single month. So if we do 3 times 8, that's already 24K, right? 3, 8, 16, 24. So if I'm already spending $24,000 on just expenses that in between that time, and if I need 20,000 points for my hotel, then that's essentially how I'm going to break it down. And then my cashback card, I'm going to occasionally use it. I'm probably going to use it only for gas, and then everything else I'm going to be using it on the United one so I can collect the miles. Then that's how I'm going to collect the cashback, so I can use that money that I'm collecting from my cashback during my trip, and then I can use the points to purchase whatever I need to purchase, whether it's my flights or hotels. So that's how I break down how I want to use my miles, because after your sign-up bonus, you don't just get free miles, you do have to be collecting them, and the way you collect them is by spending money on the card. And obviously you do want to be paying off the cards, because if you're not paying them off, then kind of defeats the purpose, because you're essentially going to be paying interest, and then at that point you're paying for using the card, which what you want to do is you want to be using the card, you want to pay it off, collect the points, and take advantage of the rewards so you don't have to pay that extra interest. So that's how I plan my trips and how I plan on how I want to book my flights and my hotels. So even if I take like a mini trip, like let's say I take a road trip to like Dallas or Austin or San Antonio, wherever it is that it's nearby, I will again check the date and how many points I need, and then I will plan on how much money I need to be spending on that card so I can collect those certain amount of points. And the fun thing about the United portal is that it lets you do a split payment. So you can use a certain amount of miles and then the rest you can pay with your card. So I've done that too, where I pay half of it in miles and then the other half I pay out of pocket. That's another way to also move around your miles, because if you have multiple trips coming up, you can split them and use some miles on one trip and the others on the other. So that is one way that I have been able to essentially not pay as much and also travel for free, because some of my trips have been like completely free where I haven't had to pay a single dollar. Like for example, the trip that I have coming up here shortly in January, I didn't have to spend a single dollar on my hotel, and it's a 2-night hotel and it's breakfast included, so that already saves money on food, and all I have to do is just show up because I've already had it paid, but essentially I paid it with my miles, and it's money that I've already been spending throughout the year. So that's one way that you can plan your trips. Hopefully that answers a little bit of how it is that I've been able to travel with my cards. Now obviously you do have to get accepted into these. You're not just going to apply and then like if you don't get accepted, then that kind of doesn't help. Now the other thing that I wanted to cover is also how to continue collecting more points with different portals. So essentially, to get qualified for these, you do have to be above a certain credit score and a certain amount of income. So you want to make sure that you set yourself up to be able to get these cards, because after these cards, then really the next ones that you could get are your hotel cards. I don't have the hotel cards yet, but the ones that are going to be next in my agenda are going to be the Marriott Bonvoy, because the Mileage Plus account and the Marriott Bonvoy do transfer points to each other. So that's one way that I want to be able to use those. And then the last one is using the Amex and the Sapphire. So for those of you guys who already have your cashback card and you already have your airline card, then the next one you want to probably get is your hotels card. If you already have those three, then the next ones you probably would want to look into is the Amex and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And here's the reason why. It's because the Chase Sapphire Reserve has 14 travel partners that you can transfer items to. So they have 20 airline and hotel partners. So that's what Amex has. Amex has the 20 airline and hotel partners, and Chase only has 14 travel partners. But if you combine both, you essentially have 24 travel partners, because 10 of those overlap. And we can go into details on a different podcast between the Chase Sapphire and the Amex. But right now, going back to how it is that you can travel for free is you definitely want to get your cash back, because when you use that card, you are collecting money and you can use that money to be able to purchase items during your trip. The second one is getting your airline one. Your airline one, again, I prefer the United credit card because that's the one I have, and I prefer that one because I'm going to transfer my points to my Chase portal, and I'm also going to use it with my Marriott Bonvoy. But for those of you guys who don't really have United in your city or don't use United, you can also look into the Southwest one. I like the Southwest one for the travel companion pass that they have. That's probably the only reason why I would get it, because everything else that Chase has, like my United Chase one, the Southwest already has, minus the companion pass. Now, after you've gotten those, then the next one would be essentially your hotel cards. And those, it could be anyone, like Hilton, Marriott. Those are essentially your biggest two chains, but it doesn't have to necessarily just be those. Just make sure that you choose the ones that have the best rewards. I prefer the Marriott Bonvoy because that one has a portal that I can transfer points from the Marriott to my Mileage Plus. So just be strategic on which ones you use, because when you transfer points from portal to portal, sometimes they are worth more. Same thing with the Amex and the Chase Sapphire. That would be essentially like your next ones or your granddaddies. So yes, they do have a yearly fee. They have a higher yearly fee than your other travel ones, but the rewards that you get with these are worth a lot more. And we're probably going to dive into these on a separate podcast on the rewards and how they differ and how they're worth more on certain portals. But for now, I don't want to overwhelm you guys with information on how to travel for free, but pretty much if you have your cash back, all you need is really just your travel card and get a airline one. Once you get your airline ones, start collecting points. Definitely hit the bonus points so that you can get the sign-up bonus, because with the sign-up bonus, you can book pretty much hotels and flights. Once you're done using those points, refer friends. Once you're done referring friends, you can collect points on a yearly basis, and anything that you purchase with that card is collecting points. So just plan your trips around the amount of points that you're spending per month or per year. And that's one way that you can have one big trip annually, or a couple of small ones every couple of months, if you are strategic on how it is that you're spending your money, so you can be collecting points to pay for those, and you don't have to pay at literally anything at all. Unless you're staying at a resort. Remember, we did mention in the past that resorts do require you to pay, and that's not covered by the points. And some hotels do require you to put down a security deposit, but again, with deposits, those can be reversed back to your account. But everything else, like the stay itself, is covered by your miles and obviously your flights. So that is a little bit on how to travel for free. Hopefully that answers a little bit more of your questions and how it is that I've been able to travel for free. And again, this is episode number 5 on how to travel for free or how to travel at a reduced cost. And again, this is Cass's Financial Outlook, and I am your host, Cassandra Collin. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. For those of you guys who are listening to us just on audio, remember we do have a YouTube channel at Cass's Financial Outlook, and on all the other platforms, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, SoundCloud, etc., all of those. Don't forget to leave us a review. Definitely leave a review. It means a ton, and it does help a ton to us too. I want to be able to get feedback on what is helping, what's not, and definitely leave a comment on what it is that you want to be learning next, or what other topics you want us to be talking about. But other than that, let's not forget, I forgot to mention in the beginning that we have to go over our no more disclaimers. But again, this is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. This is just tips and tricks of what I've used in the past on what's helped me on how I've been able to travel. And I hope that you guys are able to take advantage of the rewards that these credit card companies are offering so that you are able to travel this year. And if anyone needs help with this, I am offering free consulting, and we can get on a quick 15-minute call and I can guide you through on how it is that you can do this. You can find me on Instagram at Cass_Collin, or you can reach me on my Facebook page, Cassandra Collin Duke. or for those of you guys who know me, just shoot me a text, reach out to me directly, but definitely connect with me, and I'd love to help you guys be able to take advantage of these. I get nothing out of it, just I want to help you guys because I'm a travel junkie and I love experiences, so I want to help you guys experience that too. So again, this was episode number 5 on how to travel for free and how to use and maximize your rewards. So we will see you at our next podcast. Thank you for tuning in.